Hello everyone, welcome aboard once again. New video, new topic. So what are we going to learn to do as a command line this time? We are going to kind of learn to do everything else with text files, meaning like I want to be able to copy a text files, make a backup copy. I want to be able to move the file from one folder to another. I want to be able to rename it. I want to be able to delete it. And then when I learn to do all of this with file, of course, I want to learn to do all of this with folders as well. And by the way, we never learned how to create a folder, right, until now. So we are going to fix that right now. So I am again in my home directory, okay, and I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to call it X files like this, one word, okay. mkdir, make directory, easy to remember. Now I do a ls, and somewhere right here is my new folder. What's inside that folder? Well, nothing for now. Can I go inside of it? Sure thing. Can I come back outside of it? Yes, no problem. So I created a folder. Okay, so that allows you to organize your work. Like for example, you saw that all of my text files here were kind of like in the middle of, they were all in my home directory. That's not really a clean organization. It would be better if I could do what I did with the subfolder edu, right? Where I have a folder edu in my home directory for everything instructional, and then under that folder edu I have a subfolder for each of the courses that I'm taking or teaching, and then I can do cd edu, cdc, COP has subfolders, and then you can see inside of that there are no, this one doesn't have subfolder. What am I saying? CIS maybe. Come on, be nice. There we go. So this one has two subfolders, logs and readings. So yeah, this is a better way to organize things. As a matter of fact, the folder CIS 1930 right now contains all the text files that are in my home directory right now, but organized in a nice little hierarchy structure. Okay, so for example, I have node.txt here, that's a basic text file. Inside of logs, I have that dmesg.log file that I had before, except that now it doesn't have the suffix .log. I modified it, I renamed it, and so on and so forth. Okay, readings, novels, okay, and then readings, what else is there? Poems, there we go. And we have all the stuff that we had in the home directory so far. So we know how to create a folder, we know how to navigate the file system, so we know how to create a hierarchy of folder that suits our needs. Okay, so let me go back to the home directory. I created that Xfiles folder. Awesome. I'm going to learn now to modify, copy texts and stuff like that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to learn to do is copy a file. So easy to remember, CP, source, destination. You first specify the source, then the destination, where you want it. So the source is going to be a full path name, okay, can be relative. For example, it can be just dmsg.log, okay, relative path name to my current working directory. The destination, so if I'm copying a file, the destination can be two things, right? It can be a folder, enter, in which case next time I look into the folder, I'm going to find a copy of the file, okay, same exact file, so ls-l here and ls-l of the file in my folder gives the same information, the same size, and so on and so forth, okay? So I can copy one file like this into a new folder, or I can say copy, and I can say dmsg blah 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 .log into the subfolder X files. And again, I could specify it as an absolute, okay, like an absolute path like this. Okay, it doesn't matter, absolute, relative, whatever you want. And then when instead of hitting enter right now, I'm going to rename the file on the fly. So I'm going to say copy dmesg.log as dmesg.secret. Okay, enter. What happened? ls-l, you'll never guess, X files, and it shows me this new file, this new copy of the original dmesg.log. So it has the same size, etc. But I, on the fly, renamed it. So you copy a file to a folder, it keeps the same name. You copy a file to a folder, and you add a file name, it is renamed on the fly. Okay, so what we can do with a file here, we can do also with a folder, whole folder. So ls, let's see, we have a folder here called edu.cis 1930. Okay, all right. It contains all of that stuff about readings and whatnot, poems, etc. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to make a copy of that folder into my new Xfiles folder for whatever reason. So I'm going to do cp copy, and now I'm going to add an option -r. -r means recursive. That means I'm going to give you the name of the folder, but I want you to copy everything that is in the folder, including subfolders, including subfolders of subfolders and the files therein. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, copy this guy here. And same thing, I can copy it into, I can copy it into Xfiles. All right, like so. ls Xfiles. It's been copied. So all the files, everything has been copied. I can check that very quick by using the tab key for auto completion. This is a copy of CIS 1930. This is what's inside, readings inside of it. Everything is there. Okay, so I copied recursively this folder into a new folder. Or I can do cp-r, and I can say again edu, CIS, etc. And I can say as destination Xfiles, and I'm going to do stuff. So stuff doesn't exist inside the folder Xfile, right? So now what I have is a new folder named stuff, okay, right here. And guess what it contains? It's a copy of this. So I just copied and renamed, just like I did with a file. You know, you can copy and rename on the fly, whether it's a file or a folder. Let's check the content just to make sure. Files, stuff, and then inside of it there is this stuff, and then inside the logs there is dmesg, and so on and so forth. Okay, so cp copies the files for us. Awesome. What about moving? Because right now I have like I lost track. I have 3 or 4 copies of this folder, you know, all over the place. But what I would like to do instead is I would like to move things. So copy them and erase the original. So there's another command to do that. mv for move. So we are going to do mkdir organized mess. There we go. New folder. Okay. And the first thing I want to do is I want to move dmesg that I hear right now in my home directory. Okay. I want to move it out of the way. So I want to move this one. I want to move this one. And I'm not going to go into full details here, but I could type poem rings.txt, then poem road.txt, then poem road.old, and poem old road.new. That would be the way I expect you to do it. Okay. And then when you have all those names like that, these are all the sources that you want to shove into the folder organized mess. So the name of the folder where you want to move all those files is last. And you could also move along the way, you could move a folder as well. So something.txt, dmesg, awesome. Let's put right in the middle of all those file names, let's put the name of the folder, for example, project 1. There we go, project 1. You don't have to put the slash at the end, okay? Move is going to realize that this is a folder. If I type this, I'm going to move this file, this file, this file, this folder, this file, and this file in organized mess. Let's go. And then ls, a lot of stuff has been cleared up, right? Cleaned up. ls organize the mess, and my files are here, and my folder project 1 has been moved, and yes, everything that was inside of project 1 is still there. Okay, So that's CP command, move command, they kind of work the same way, right? So you notice in passing that the MV command, here we used it with multiple sources and a destination. Well, you can do the same with the CP command, okay? No problem. Now, the one thing that I mentioned I was going to kind of sweep under the rug is that instead of typing poem road new, poem road old, poem blah, 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 I could have used what is called wildcard characters. So there is a syntax, and again, this is a whole syntax. It's a new topic for like an hour lecture or whatever, okay? But I'm just going to give you like one example, the gist of the stuff that you're going to use probably the most often. The syntax for wildcards means that you want to specify a bunch of file names or a bunch of folder names that have something in common, and then they change, for example, for their suffix or their prefix or in the middle of the name, blah, blah, blah. Here we have a great example. Poem road has two versions, a .new and a .old. So I could write ls-l poem road .old and then poem road .new. So yeah, ls can also take several arguments, no problem. Or, again, I could say I'm going to use those wildcards. So the one wildcard I'm going to show you is a star. When I write poem_road.star, the shell is going to be instructed to look at the specific path. So in this case, the folder is my current working directory, but I could specify it, you know, like this, /home, /a/alessio, where am I? Yeah, poem_road. But instead of typing both names one after the other and repeating the /home, blah, 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 in this case, I just say, this is a file name that I want you to ls-l. Location, path name, base name, except that the base name, oops, I did an involuntary cut and paste here, except that the base name this time is the first letters of the file and then a star to indicate whatever. So that means that this is a pattern, this thing here is a pattern that is going to match any file that starts by poem_road dot, and that is followed by whatever you want. So for example, new and old, okay? So the star is often used for suffix like that, but it can be used differently, okay? You could say, for example, I want to copy everything that starts with poem. Well, in our case, it's the same thing, but if I had a thing, actually, well, I had a file poem rings, but then I lost it, I moved it. But in that case, that would include also poem rings, okay? Well, let's show you that, okay, ls-l, blah, blah, blah. So here I have only two things, but now that I know how to do a copy, I can go into my organized mess. I can find poem rings.txt, copy it back here in my home directory. Okay, I'm in my home directory right now. And now I can say ls-l, so upper row, upper row, upper row, everything that starts with poem_, and now I have 3 files. So the same way that I can specify as a target of a ls a name that has a wildcard character in it, I can do the same thing with CP, with move, and all that good stuff, okay? So in my case, I'm going to move everything that starts with poem_, and I'm going to move it to organized mess, but be careful, I did copy this one from organized mess back to my home folder. Now I am moving this one back to organized mess. If I had modified this one, the modified copy would overwrite the one in organized mess, okay? So when you move a bunch of stuff like that in a folder, if there is something in that folder that already has the same file name, too bad. It's going to be overwritten by the new version that you are moving into that folder, okay? So let's do that. ls, okay, I have like a lot less junk now in my home folder, but it's all hidden in this folder called organized mess. And the 2 poems transferred, and the third one overwrote the version, the copy of it that was already there, okay? So this is a similitude between CP, move, and stuff like that, okay? And everything that you learn about absolute path, relative path, etc. still applies to all those arguments for CP, move, and ls, and stuff like that. Most of the command, as a matter of fact, okay? So another thing about move is just like copy can, rename a file as it is copied, move can rename a file as it is moved. So, for example, I can say move Bobbyverse, and I'm going to put it in organized mess, but I'm going to call it novel underscore bobbyverse.txt. So I want to move a file. I could want to move a folder, no problem. Okay, you can move an entire folder. I want to move this file into this folder, which is here relative to my current working directory. It's right there. And because I put the name of the file here at the end, that means that this is going to be the new name for my file. Here we go. ls bobbyverse.txt disappeared. Organized mess is now featuring where it is novel.bobbyverse.txt. Okay, and I told you can do the same with how to call it, with folders, right? So do we have a folder here that could be nice to move? Not really, but I can. Well, yeah, I can. X files, awesome. Move xf tab. I want to move that folder into organized mess, and I'm going to call it TV show underscore X files. There we go. And again, the folder disappeared. It was here. It has been moved to where? To the subfolder organized mess. Here it is. TV show. And at the same time, it was renamed. So an interesting side effect of that is that, let's say that we go to inside organized mess. Okay, so we are here inside of organized mess inside my home directory. And let's say that we want to change the name of that file. Well, in a typical Unix environment, so Linux, Mac OS, and stuff like that, when you are at the command line, the way you do that is you use the move command. But you're not going to move to another location, your folder or your file. You're going to simply say, I want to move the folder TV show X files right here, same location. Okay, so you could specify /home/a alessio organized mess TV show X files, and then /home/a alessio organized mess, so the same folder, right? But give it a different name. And we're going to call it, for example, we go back to the original name that was the short name X files. You do that, this is what happened. You moved pretty much a folder from one location to the same location, and you use that possibility that we have when we move something to rename it on the fly. So the move command is also the rename command pretty much in Linux. Okay, and that works with a folder. I can do the same with a file, something else. Oops. .txt. There we go. So I had a file named something, and I have a file named something else.txt. It's the same file, just rename the title. Okay. All right. Last thing that we need to cover. This is going to be a short video. We need to get rid of junk. So for that, we have the remove command, rm. Okay. So erasing a file, super easy. You go, let's say that I'm in my home directory. I'm going to go rm, organized mess, and then I want to get rid of, for example, premroad.old, because it has really only one line in it or something like that. Oh yeah, it says blah 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 blah. Okay, so I want to erase that thing. So you see that it's there, right, in my organized mess folder. rm ls organized mess, and it shows me now that it's gone. So watch out, when you erase something on Mac or you erase something on Windows, using the graphical user interface, that is, it doesn't really erase it. It takes that file or folder that you are like trying to erase, and it puts it in a special folder called the trash. And then the trash is there. You can go back in the trash, find back what you erased, right click on it, say restore or for something like that, and it's going to place it back where it came from. Awesome. When you use a terminal, whether it's actually macOS, Windows, or Linux, when you use a terminal and you use the command line to erase something, like for example in Linux it's rm, it's also rm for macOS, by the way. This is something that you have to be really careful about, because once rm is done erasing a file or a folder, it's gone. There's no way to recover it. There is a way to recover it by doing forensics, but you would have to shut down immediately your laptop, give your hard drive to somebody who is going to do forensics on it, try to recover in the file system your file. Yeah, this is not easy. It's not cheap either. So bottom line is, unless you've learned how to do that yourself, rm is a definitive erasure of, in this case, a file. So I don't have an undo button for that one. I don't have a trash where to find the file before I definitively empty the trash. So this is a little harder. If you're going to probably at some point in your career RM a file that you just spent 2 hours writing, bottom line is backup things, copy version of your file into a backup, or even better, learn to use version control system like Git, for example, GitHub, etc. But that's a topic for another video. So now we are playing with RM. Awesome. I can say I want to RM organized mess perm underscore star. So I can use the wildcard here as well. It's going to remove all of those guys. And again, there's no undo. Okay, RM is definitive. Now, what about folders? Like, for example, that's the X-file folder. So I'm going to go into, just to show you that we can use different way to name the argument of RM, I'm going to do a RM, and I'm going to say /home/a/alessio/ where is it? Organized mess. Oops, I lost track. X-files. There we go. And I'm going to hit enter. Well, if I try to do that, error message, no can do. I cannot RM that thing because it is a folder. So this is kind of a safety, okay, so that you don't by accident, you can by accident remove RM a file. You can by accident remove several files. Like for example, if I go into that folder and I say RM something else and novel, Bobbyverse, etc. Yes, I can RM those things that are going to be gone. Okay, but if I try to remove an entire directory and assuming everything inside of it, like project 1, it's going to warn me. So you have to override this. Okay, the way you override this is to, and you have to be really careful. Okay, -R. -R, recursive. So I want to remove a folder and everything under it. It's gone. And again, no trash. So no way to go and find what you just removed and recover it. No, it's completely gone. Okay. So you have to be really careful when you use those RM commands, RM, and especially RM-R, okay? You can lose a lot of work and nobody can recover it or will recover it for you if, for example, you are using a shared server with other students, okay? So be extremely careful about this, this little caveat there, this difference between erasing something in Windows and Mac when we use the graphic user interface and erasing something at the command line in a terminal when you use, well, Linux, Mac OS, or even Windows, okay? All right, with this being said, we are done with this video. So I would say happy ARM, but no, we're not really. I don't wish you to do too many RMs. We are going to conclude this video with this overview of CP, MV, RM, and that's pretty much it. And now you have a complete set of tools to be able to organize your files inside your home directory of whatever Linux system you are logging into. All right, thank you for your attention, and I'll see you in another video.